A woman worth $2 billion just put somebody on child support. What's next? Oprah putting somebody on child support? Now, you may laugh at that, the idea or even the concept of Oprah putting Stedman on child support. Yeah, that's funny. But when you look at the numbers on this one, the math doesn't math. She's worth 5 times more than him, and they have joint legal and joint physical custody. So follow me here. When it's set up like that after a divorce, there are situations where the person who makes more can end up having to pay child support to the person who has the kid less. According to Kanye West, she has the kid 80% of the time. So if we're going to break it down to a fraction, he has the kid 1/5 of the time. Well, he makes 1/5 of what she makes. It should bare minimum balance out to where he pays nothing. And if those that we don't speak of, the they who we're not supposed to say who they is.
I think they've been extremely unfair to you.
Who is they though? We can't say who they is,
corporate
can we?
press. I'm not using the. I don't use the word as the way I guess you guys use. I'm talking.
It is
about
them though, isn't it?
If they were to do anything else to Kanye West's money, it mathematically should add up to where she should be paying him something if they have joint legal and joint physical custody. That's how it works out. So how did they make it even play out to where he ends up having to pay her $200,000 a month when she's worth that much more than him? That makes me wonder, was this Kanye West judge? That coupled with the fact that it says right there in the report that they're going to split all the other expenses, like for school, education, college, security, everything. They're going to split all of that, which means she's going to just pull from the $200,000 that's going to be wired directly to her account to pay her half of all of those expenses. And then Kanye West is going to have to reach into whatever money that they don't take from him, He's going to have to reach into that money and pay the other half of it, which means he's footing 100% of the bill. So this white Oprah rich billionaire woman just got away with essentially having no child care expenses at all, but gets to parade around like mommy dearest, and I'm the one who's here for the kid, and he's just being such a monster, and he's talking about how I'm screwing him over like those that we don't speak of, all the same. Now, we just saw his $2 to $6 billion net worth get taken away basically with the stroke of a pen. You have to let that sink in when you try to even examine that $200,000 a month in child support to just try to evaluate how much it is. We know that $2 to $6 billion was not liquid cash. Nobody went into a vault and walked away with money bags of his money. No, they basically just did some paperwork, and now he's light a few $1 billion, which means even when you're worth 400 million, that doesn't mean that you necessarily have cash flow like that, which means that dollar amount that he has to pay can still possibly be a significant amount of cash flow. That's why I say this is about control and leverage. It's not about taking care of some kids. It's about, I'm not with you, I don't want to be with you, but I'm going to make sure that I take a piece of you. I'm going to make sure that you think of me when you're making all your decisions with your volatile, all over the place, bipolar disorder that she talks about. She talks about his mental state, by the way. Let's not forget that point. She always talks about his mental state, and that's the reason why she wants to divorce him. But his mental state doesn't come into play when it comes to getting him for $200,000 a month. You don't think that something in his mental state can make it to the point to where he's not going to be always able to have all that money, to that liquid cash to be able to reach to and pay out? But no, she doesn't care. It's about leverage and control. It's not about taking care of kids whatsoever. So it's feasibly possible that he could make some more brash decisions to make that $400 million not even be there tomorrow. And I don't even want to take it this way because I'm not even trying to go full tinfoil hat with this thing. But this just kind of looks like phase 2 of the takedown that they were already on. We, through the stroke of a pen, lowered your net worth. Now we're about to try to stick it to you and get hard liquid cash out of you. It also says in the report that they waived alimony in their divorce. Now I'm sitting there thinking to myself, man, if he would have went DEFCON 3 a little earlier and got knocked down to 400 million while those divorce proceedings was going on, it's feasibly possible that he could have got her for alimony. But like I said, the math does not math out, because it makes no sense that he has to pay her anything to begin with, because it's joint legal and joint physical custody. She's worth 5 times more than him, which means she technically should have to pay him Even if she has the kids more, it doesn't matter. It works out like that. There are lots of men who won custody, but they were making $100,000 to their ex-wives $30,000, and they still ended up having to pay a little bit. That is a very common thing. I know that personally. I have my kids more than my ex-wife, and I have to pay a little bit. So I'm trying to figure out, how did they get him for $200,000 a month, and Kim Kardashian has Oprah money? That goes back to my original point that this is almost like Oprah putting Stepman on child support. If she's paying her half and she has them 80% of the time and he has them 20% of the time, if her half is covered by her, then that means the amount that he has to pay to her is found in that 30%. That remaining 30% is where that $200,000 a month is being allocated. Let all of that think in and just sit back and just breathe it in and just look at how ridiculous this all is.